Hello, my name is Hampton-Brooks. I am the teacher of Hampton Hong Shogun M.A. Here at this school, we understand the reality and the secrets between not only the Japanese schools of martial arts, because I have that side, I have that background, but there's also the Chinese point of view, which I have that side and that background. But here we mainly teach Chinese martial arts, relatively Wing Chun Kung Fu being our main source, and also Sun Shou or Sandao, which is Chinese kickboxing, or that's the relative term, we can just call it Chinese kickboxing. Anyway, so we're going to start a series about the wooden dummy. And with this, I hope you get a better understanding about how to practice the wooden dummy, how to become better with the wooden dummy every single day. This first video is relatively about squaring up. What do you mean by squaring up, Ty? Well, have you ever played Rock'em Sock'em Robots? I know that's a very old game for most of us. I'm 43, so I get it. A lot of you've never played that before. But Rock'em Sock'em Robots takes on the idea of boxing. You know, squaring up. Squaring up to me, and our definition is I am face forward. Jing, front. I am facing front, face forward. My shoulders are facing forward. My hands are ready and facing forward. Everything about me is facing forward. When it comes to the dummy, and when it comes to opponents, you are front facing 99.9% of the time. Rarely is there time when you are facing towards a more horse stance facing, or if I'm like this, maybe my front is facing, but my legs are making a L shape or a back stance. So in that case, like I said, 9 times out of 10, I am front facing. Anytime you're practicing with the wooden dummy, it's helping you learn how to deal with a regular human opponent. So you just can't do the wooden dummy form and think you're doing something. It becomes a empty, unintelligent way of doing the dummy. It becomes nothing if you don't know what it is and why it is and why you must practice it a certain way. So in this case, I'm going to push this dummy over a little bit, because that way I can be able to see more. There are points, I'll give a great example. If I was Tupac, there's some people do this tradition, they'll just stay forward, chop over, okay? And they'll do that. Some people like me for example, I will shift. Other people may pop, but they'll shift here, go back. But you notice each and every time what happened in the ending. We went back to facing forward, especially when delivering the punch. We could go from a shift point if we're shifting and drive our momentum with the punch straight. Creating straightforwardness, shifting into it. It gains momentum to produce a more maximum punch. A lot of people in other martial arts schools do not believe that we have these points of momentum where we can have a more maximal punch, much like a hook punch or a straight cross. Fair enough. Let them think what they want. So in this, okay, we're going to talk about what best point shows this whole squaring up idea. So if I was to start in the very beginning, you know, I have this check. and I bong, right? When I step into, I'm stepping around my Song Jones step. Now I'm here as ton and palm. Now, why is this so important that I'm right here like this? That my foot is underneath the leg and I'm right here. If I was to take this, lift it up, turn this hand around, and I'm gonna do this. I'm not moving much, okay? And I'm closing the fists together. They are at the same length, which means both fists fight at the same level. Both fists. Wing Chun wise, you won't know what's the jab or what's the straight, because as long as I'm straight and have my hands together like this, I can fight both hands and at a faster pace. If I had one leg back and it was too far back, you have this. So now what happens, especially like boxing, for example, there's jabs, but then they have to lift up the leg and even reach to turn to do crossing. So now they have to make sure that cross is going to be worth something. They can't just do the cross just because they think it's going to look cool or whatever. They have to ultimately make sure that the opponent is weak at a defense point to even want to do this cross. Does that start to make sense? You can try it if you want to. You can literally have one leg further back and do that. And notice that when you do try to do it, it's like your body wants to lift that. Even if you try to be like flat-footed and you do this, you'll feel the lifting in your heel. So a lot of times boxers are already taught to lift from that heel point and turn. Oh well. So here in Wing Chun, right, when we get that bong, we square up. We're, like I said, shoulders straight, head straight. I'm going into the mass of the dummy. I'm going into it. There's no playing with that idea, okay? So another thing is, if you notice, this palm here is the same palm from Sunum Dao form. Same palm from Sunum Dao form. It is no different. This tonsile is more this point, even though it's not the slow point. This is usually more trying to exercise the idea of a chi sao tonsile. It's not trying to exercise a combat type of tonsile, but this idea of reference is very good to understand the technical analysis of what kind of tonsile we want here. Notice how in many other videos I have done, this tonsile is relatively more upward. And if I was to lift it up a little bit, it hits my chin. The butt part of the palm hits my chin. Haven't I always said in my school that my tonsile is not all the way up, it's not here, it's about right here. And it's always been touching my chin ever since. The Wing Dummy instructed me on that. The Wing Dummy would instruct you on a lot of things you can do with the skill. If the dummy's too low, then you could do a low ton and you do more of a sticky hand idea. If you do more of a sticky hand or whatever, then yes, you're exactly right a lot of cases. And then, of course, if you put it side by side, turn the hand, you still have equal. So the whole point of the video is having equal hands for an opponent, especially when they're facing this way or they're facing the opposite way, and you're in a Chun Q neutral or you're in a Chun Q angle with them, you can actually be a better opponent against a human being or the dummy itself. And I would love to do a video with one of my students about this very soon. Please, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.